It's that time of the week again, and we're looking back at the month of news. That's right, September's news includes things like Xbox leaking some pretty interesting information, Activision maybe finally being bought up, and Unity charging some pretty dodgy prices. All in this episode of the Gift of Game podcast. All right, it's me, it's your host, Darren Wade, and I am joined by the classic trio for news, my anchorman, Mr. Xbox Games Pass himself, Luke Maycock. Luke, how you keeping?
I'm great, Darren.
Good.
Thanks. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm not too bad, I'm here also joined by the console-hating, PC-playing, full-time Canadian, lore-seeking Chris Robbins. Chris, how you keeping?
I'm keeping pretty well.
I think I mixed up your phrases there. There's a better feel. I think lore-seeking, full-time Canadian's a better run. But
yeah, I think it ends with the full-time Canadian. That sounds a bit more familiar.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Because that's what you are above anything else. You're a full-time Canadian man.
Yeah.
That is
Am I a full-time Canadian? I mean, I live in Ireland, so I mean...
You're full-time. It never changes.
Yeah.
You're never off the clock.
But how you guys keeping? What have you guys been playing? What have you guys been up to?
I've been playing so many things. I've been doing well, first of all. Games-wise, I've been getting into all kinds of stuff. Playing a few different RPGs. Still haven't started Sea of Stars, but that's on the list. Playing Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age. Fantastic so far. I'm not super far into it, but great. Playing Party Animals. Chris, I know you had some interest in Party Animals.
I didn't know
sick.
when it started.
I am
playing
sick
that.
at Party Animals now.
Oh,
Are you
I wish
played it too
had
much?
Told me.
No, I haven't. I've taken
Is
taken it easy breezy.
Cross-platform.
I don't know.
We got to figure that out.
What are you
I would
playing on?
love to play that
Xbox.
game.
Because I checked it on the play. This is the one with the kind of gang beasts
Style, but like corgi
Yeah.
and a moose and
the otter and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, because I checked it. I typed in Party Animals onto my PlayStation store and didn't. It's surely on PlayStation, right?
I'd imagine so.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem like a very difficult game to. I
To
don't think
put on a PlayStation.
it'd be strange if it wasn't. I think it was day one Game Pass, but I don't know if that speaks to an exclusivity kind of thing going on there. But I think it's on all platforms.
I hope so, because
on all platforms.
I've watched a couple of like party plays with some of the podcasts that I watch, some of the groups that I watch, and it looks like that kind of
It looks
classic.
so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much
Hilarious fun.
It's great. So I've been playing that. I've been playing a bit of Outer Wilds again. I'm at the point in my year where I've just forgotten enough of Outer Wilds to dip my toe back in.
Nice, yeah.
But I'll remember it all soon, and all fun will go out the window.
And you're like, oh, I remember this. I've done this.
Yep. Vampire Survivor as well. Playing some Vampire Survivor again. I've been playing a lot of games. Forza. I was just playing Forza.
Interesting.
Crazy. Yeah.
Are you enjoying
Yeah.
Forza?
Yeah, great game. Like a really good game. I was like, I really wanted a good racing sim in my life.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of really good ones on the PC. But I was like, Forza is like AAA. It's on Game Pass. I can just like click it and install. And I did. And man, that game opens with a bang. Like the whole intro to that game is just fanfare out the wazoo. It was so fun.
Forza's looked, because I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo. Well, not recently, but that's kind of been my racing sim, because the Formula 1 games are just way too fucking hard.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I was good at them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I was looking at Forza being like, that looks like that's a lot of fun. But I'd need to own Games Pass or
some kind
Xbox.
of.
And
Yeah. But yeah, no, fun, accessible. I'd recommend it if you were looking for
I'll
a
give it a
racing
try.
game.
And Chris, you noodle arm walked into here today with none other than the Steam Deck, which you have carefully placed in the middle of the table, which it looks great, man. It looks great. How's that been?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've only had it for about a week now, and I'm just kind of prepping it with games that would play well on handheld for my trip back to Canada. But I've just been what have I got going on right now? Dead Cells, Axiom Verge, Inscription, which is this kind of like roguelike card game with a bit of a spooky theme to it.
Oh, Halloween! You're just in time for the spooky month, Chris.
Oh, I'm prepping. I also have the Resident Evils installed on it and Dead by Daylight. Like I'm getting ready for my month of horror games. And Soma, I think. I haven't started that one yet, though.
Are you looking into playing the Resident Evil 4 DLC?
So a bunch of games just went on sale. It was the new remastered version of System Shock, Dead Space Remastered, and Resident Evil 4 Remake. And I didn't want to get all of them because I was just a bit too much.
I mean, the flight to Canada is long, but it's not that long.
Exactly. I ended up opting for the Dead Space remake.
Nice.
So,
oh man, that's going to be fun. Yeah, because there was the Dead Space remake and the Callisto Protocol, wasn't that the other one? And apparently, not that it bombed, but Callisto Protocol didn't do.
It was a bit too linear, and like a lot of the things that they promised wasn't.
Yeah, it looked kind of just rough around the edges.
Yeah, well, performance wise, it was actually kind of like shit on PC. I think.
Bad port or.
Yeah, bad port. But also like gameplay wise, a lot of people didn't speak too highly of it. I think it was just trying to fill the shoes of Dead Space, which you'd have to be a pretty good game.
And you want to do it when they're not doing a remake.
Yeah,
of the game
that
around
too.
the exact same time.
Exactly.
When they realized that, they were probably like, "Fuck!" It's like of all the games to come out right when we're releasing.
It's funny though because I did start playing the Dead Space the other night. I got an NVIDIA Shield Pro 2. So I just moved into a new apartment with my girlfriend.
Congrats.
And
congrats.
thank you. I hooked up an NVIDIA Shield so I can stream my computer in my office to the TV in the living room. So I made her watch me play a bit of Dead Space.
Oh,
God, she was screaming. It was hilarious. In fairness, I was screaming too. Just like they're jumping out of the vents and shit.
You weren't like, I'll protect you. You were like,
save me. All right, well, good. Well, I guess we've got a busy news episode, and by busy I mean there's just an exceptionally big article here, and we'll kick it off with what was, I think, probably the biggest news item of the month, which was the Xbox leaks. So this article is quite big, and there's about 11 different leaks. So what I'll do is I'll read the article down, I'll go through each leak and maybe get your thoughts on each leak as it comes. Otherwise, you're just going to listen to me read for a pretty long time. So this one comes from Kotaku by Claire Jackson. So this week brought us a wonderful treasure trove of leaks from deep inside the highest echelons of Microsoft's Xbox division, accidentally shared online as a result of the company's legal battle with the Federal Trade Commission over its now greenlit Activision acquisition. These confidential emails, slides, and images of potential new products from the Xbox manufacturer reveal the inner workings of Microsoft's gaming division, as well as whispers of some possible new games from Bethesda. The leaks happened courtesy of Microsoft itself, as it provided these sensitive documents to the court via a publicly accessible link. Yesterday, Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer reacted to the leaks, saying that it was, quote, "It was hard to see our team's work shared in this way," end quote. So the first leak that kind of pops up here is Microsoft considered buying Nintendo. In the leaked emails, Phil Spencer and Microsoft's personnel discussed a possible acquisition of Nintendo. At some point, Spencer wrote, getting Nintendo would be a career moment. He speculated that the Japanese games giant could become more open to acquisition offers in the future due to changing pressures on its board of directors. He continues, "It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to realize that their future exists off of their own hardware." He wrote, it's a long time away. The emails also revealed that Microsoft thought about purchasing Valve and Warner Brothers games as well. Guys.
Valve. Okay, so these are just ideas they've had. These aren't things they're working on then. Because, like, Nintendo seems crazy to begin with.
You and me, Chris, before Luke arrived here, we were just looking at, like, the net worths of... these companies, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, Luke, just to give you an idea. Microsoft is worth 6 times Sony, and Sony is worth...
Microsoft's technologies is
division
worth 6 times more. Microsoft as a whole is...
It's trillions.
Yeah, it's trillions of dollars.
Yeah. Sorry, just the games division is worth
6 times what Sony is, and then Sony's like got twice the value, give or take, of Nintendo. So, I mean, when I read this initially, I was like, they're not going to buy Nintendo, but they got the money to buy Nintendo, man.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take just the money. I don't think Nintendo wants to sell Nintendo, right? Like, I think they're pretty happy with... If they wanted more money, they would be trying to get into like the bigger hardware and the more complicated...
I think by Nintendo's
systems.
wacky history, they're definitely comfortable where they are.
Yeah.
They're not...
I think they're quite comfortable. And the idea, like, I don't think as a principle, Valve would ever let Microsoft buy them. Like, as a principle.
As for Warner Brothers games, however,
they're just like, wait, you were thinking of buying us? Yes, please.
They emailed Microsoft immediately afterwards, be like, we're for sale. Yeah, that was a pretty bad one. Yeah, so interesting, buy Nintendo. But I just, the part of it that I don't like is the quote that he says, it's just taking a long time for Nintendo to realize that their future exists off of their own hardware. I didn't like that. It's kind of like... it's a bit grubby by old Phil, like, you know.
That's the Microsoft way, though, isn't it? At the moment, the brand existing off of hardware is how Microsoft are thinking these days.
Yes.
I mean, but we all kind of like said something similar over the past like couple months of doing this podcast, where it's just like we're talking about the future or the next system that or the Switch 2 or something. Like Nintendo has to come out with new hardware. It's like they can't sustain it. We want better games out of them. So we've said kind of similar things. I don't like. It sounds like Phil just said this off the cuff in a meeting one time, and someone like wrote that down. It's like, we're thinking of buying Nintendo.
It's in emails and stuff
this
like
is
that.
what Phil said.
Yeah, like there's another one. The one that I saw when it came out was his email about how unimpressed he was with the PlayStation 5 launch, because I guess they were all nervous about the PlayStation 5 capability and no one knew what it had. And we'll get to that. That's one of the links as well. But that was an interesting one because they're all just emails, and they're quite. I wouldn't say they're casual emails, but it is like, you know, it is just Phil just winging an email off to a couple of people in the company being like, haha, well, less impressive than I thought. It's just quite an unusual leak. Like it doesn't seem overly corporate, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go on to the next one, which is Bethesda might be working on an Oblivion remaster. Because I decided to flip my Xbox 360 from vertical to horizontal while it was running Oblivion, my adventuring and Tamriel was cut short via a huge circular scratch on the disc that no amount of toothpaste could remedy. Maybe I'll get another chance while it's still up in the air. The 2006 Elder Scrolls adventure might get a fancy new remaster in which I could make up for those lost years. Bethesda's roadmap was among the many recently released Xbox documents. It includes a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo, a Dishonored 3, and remasters of Fallout 3 and the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Also, don't expect the Elder Scrolls 6 for quite a while.
Oh, that last bit was
I didn't think... Yeah. I don't even know if we're getting an Elder Scrolls. I mean, they'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
But like, aren't they focusing pretty hard on the online game? Like they just dropped
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, because they just dropped a new expansion too, and I think they're still developing for that game. So I don't...
So I think I think it's in a different, a smaller new segment that we're getting to as well. It's all quite connected this month. But the Elder Scrolls 6 has been kind of confirmed, and it's looking like it's 2026-ish. And I say confirmed in terms of with these leaks and stuff, it's still a long way off. But yeah, I mean, remakes of lots of those games, remaster Fallout 3, I think a lot of people would say that, and Vegas tend to be the two best Fallout. I mean, I'm not a Fallout player, but people tend to think that those two and Vegas are the good ones, right?
I hope Elder Scrolls 6 is just Skyrim 2.
They just should be.
That'd suck. That'd suck. Yeah, I think Elder Scrolls 6 is like you said, it's as good as confirmed, but it'll be a cash cow for them. Like,
yeah.
No matter how good the game is, like it's going to be like the fucking Cyberpunk. People are just going to queue up and buy it because there's going to be so much hype.
Yeah.
But what was I? Lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We can keep going with the leaks while you work on your that train.
It was just on the Oblivion remaster. Yeah. That'd be sick, and that would sell really well. And it's still really in the cultural zeitgeist. Like the NPC, like Oblivion NPC is still like a popular meme, and even the music playing.
Is that the one where a guy wakes up? Is that how the adventure starts? Is that Oblivion?
No, that's Skyrim.
That's Skyrim.
Yeah, I love that you see a video where some guy takes a really
awake.
heavy hit to the head and it just like it
wakes up with
wakes up in a cart.
Because I've never played that game, but I've seen that
You
opening
never played
scene.
Skyrim?
No, Andrew.
It's on everything. It's
It's
on Alexa.
Yeah,
It
was like where they had Doom on pregnancy tests. Did you ever see that? Where like people were playing Doom
Oh
on
yeah,
pregnancy tests?
Can it run Doom? That was one of my favorite subreddits. I think it was a subreddit.
We'll hop on to the next one, which is Spencer says AAA game publishers have lost their mojo. So Phil Spencer stated that, quote, AAA publishers were slow to react.
Fuck you, Baldur's Gate.
Stop. It gets worse for Baldur's Gate, yeah. AAA publishers were slow to react to the disruption of digital storefronts like Steam and the shops built into Xbox and PlayStation. In a leaked email, Spencer wrote that third-party publishers were unable to replicate the dominance they established back in the days of video game retail. After losing their advantage of highly exclusive access to consumers in brick-and-mortar stores, they have, quote, not found a way to effectively cross-promote. They have not found a way to build publisher brands and drive consumer affinity the way Disney has in video, end quote. He noted that instead they've adopted a strategy of making huge bets on highly expensive prestige projects, relying on those risky all-in bets to establish and maintain publisher brands. He concluded that, quote, the role of a AAA publisher has changed and become less important in today's gaming industry, end quote.
Phil's got some opinions.
Phil does have some opinions, and like it's, you know, it is funny when you kind of see the inside and the outside, because one of the more shocking things that I actually quite respected him for was when Redfall came out. It was a big disaster, and he actually hopped onto My Guys, the kind of funny games. They interviewed him
that was great.
on their Xbox show, and he came out and was like, "Yeah, hands up, we messed up, like, our bad, whatever else." And in the background, he's like, "AAA, blah, blah, I don't know what they're doing." I'm kind of like, "No, Phil, just tone it down a little bit, maybe, until you get your shit sorted." I mean, do we agree? Do you think AAA, I mean, the all-in bets to establish and maintain publisher brands, I think he's not really wrong with that when you look at...
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong with any of it. Like, it's since...
Is he saying AAA games
AAA
aren't
games
trying, like studios aren't trying as hard, or people just don't care as much about them?
It sounds like he's saying that they haven't done a good job in picking themselves up since we've lost physical stores.
My read on it would be, because it's talking about AAA games specifically, AAA game studios haven't adapted well to the way the market currently is, which is like Steam, marketplaces that have loads of indie titles. They're not competing with the volume of indie titles properly because they're not marketing themselves properly. They're not doing like proper campaigns, promos, getting their brand out in front of people, which I think counts for a lot. And
but see, I mean, like, because this is where it confuses me when you take the look of Spider-Man 2 coming out at the minute. Like Spider-Man 2 kind of, you know, or actually a better one, Final Fantasy 16, which was a surprise to me. That was advertised on bus stops in Dublin. Yeah, which is like, to me, that's like getting your brand out in front of people. I can't.
Yeah, Square have always been strangely good at that. There's very few. I mean, classy that it's coming from Phil Spencer, because another studio that was always really good at it was Microsoft Studios, specifically with like the Halo games. There'd be like trailers that ran, like gameplay trailers that ran in the cinema before. Yeah, like stuff like that. Square Enix is another great example that always gets trailer, marketing material, promo stuff. Like Square Enix does it really, really well, which is probably no wonder why Phil is still trying to schmooze up the Square heads to get them over to Xbox in the next year. I just think I don't think his point is totally wrong. Like, there's not, bigger studios don't push marketing as hard. And again,
I'm trying to think, my favorite AAA studios from software, and I don't know if I've ever seen an advertisement for any of the Souls series or Elden Ring. Like, but it's never been forced down my throat. It was just something that I knew was coming.
But that's what I mean in terms of they've already built. My thing about it, which is where I would disagree with Phil in this slightly. But again, I don't work in the fucking industry. I'm not head of Microsoft, so of course the guy's got a lot more experience in this than I do. But my thing about it is I think of Guerrilla, Square Enix. I know what they're doing because they've built the brand up as I've been growing up. So I don't need to see trailers of Final Fantasy 16. I'm actively going out and looking at the state of plays, the announcement and the Game Awards. And I think that's what a lot of gamers are doing. People are kind of got their ear to the ground. I don't know if AAA necessarily need to do what kind of Phil is stating. I think indie games have to do that because they tend to be just new studios all the time and no one knows about them. So of course they kind of have to advertise in a different way to AAA would have to. Yeah,
I think, No, I think you're right. I don't think the AAA, maybe he's complaining about revenue capture. There's not... They're not earning as much as they could be if they did approach it because Starfield just came out, and there's Starfield ads on TV right now. The live action trailer is on
the live action trailer is kind of strange.
It's rough.
I didn't enjoy that.
I don't like it at all.
Well, I mean, they have the live action trailer for Mortal Kombat right now with Batista.
Oh yeah.
It's an homage to the old one.
Where he actually shouts Mortal Kombat, which I love.
And he gathers all the people from the city, the old. I think it was the original Mortal Kombat's commercial where everyone's going into the streets.
But you're right there. In terms of they've got that live action thing, but I don't. That's cringe to me in a way. I know they're trying to advertise it, but Final Fantasy 16 had a live action trailer, and that was really rough. That was cringy, and I was I'm going to forget I saw that and just go buy the game and play the game because I don't want to see some dude dressed up as Clive. And
it was cringy, but I kind of dug it. It was cheesy, but in a way I liked.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'll go on to the next one. This one's very short. Microsoft expected a Red Dead Redemption 2 next gen refresh. Microsoft seemed to have anticipated an Xbox Series X or S port of Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2022. This, of course, didn't happen. That's all that's in that link. That's fairly straightforward. I also anticipated an up-res version of Red Dead Redemption 2. I was quite excited because I haven't played it in
Instead, we got a butchered
version of Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption 1. Yeah.
And what would have, that now that we're approaching Halloween, and
I wonder
scary
if
games,
they planned on doing it and then, but very much the same as how they handled the first one. And then we just shit all over what they just did, and they're like, "Okay, let's not announce what we're about to do."
because instead of 60
what to
quid,
do.
they were going to charge 80 or something
Yeah,
like that. For it. They're like,
exactly.
okay, let's pull it back. So this is an interesting one. So and this is an interesting one. Look, I think based off our conversation about Baldur's Gate and how Xbox Series S had the problem. So 3/4 of Xbox gamers had a Series S. The Xbox Series X and Series S consoles hit the market in 2020. Since then, the lower-powered discless Series S actually makes up the majority of units sold. As of April 2022, 74.8% of Xbox Series owners were gaming on a Series S, suggesting that just a quarter of the base left gaming on the more powerful Xbox Series X unit. Again, that was over a year ago, and more recent data suggests that install base split is approaching 50-50. But you got to wonder how much that massive Series S install base is causing headaches for developers trying to bring high-end games to the Xbox ecosystem. I think I'll continue on to the next leak because I think we can talk about the two of them in tandem. Microsoft dramatically underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is a super good time, but Microsoft didn't seem to think the D&D RPG would amount to much. In leaked comments, Microsoft...
How could you not
Well,
isn't Critical Role the most streamed thing
for a
on
time
Twitch now? Well, maybe not now anymore,
but when they were in their height, possibly. Microsoft estimated a $5 million expense to get the game on Game Pass, justifying the low monetary amount by describing Baldur's Gate 3 as a, quote, second-run Stadia PC RPG, end quote. Reacting to the statement, Larian's director of publishing noted that Microsoft was far from alone in underestimating the appeal of Baldur's Gate 3. Hats off to Larian as well. Just they don't mind taking the shades, you know?
Yeah, they're above
Oh
it.
my god! And you know what the worst part about this is? Larian, the console was an afterthought. Now that they've actually made their game available on console, and these console companies are shitting on them, they could just be like, "All right, fuck it." PC owners are the only ones that get to play our games again.
And it's it's the thing where, and maybe this is where maybe Baldur's Gate, Larian saw this and we're like, no, we're not giving it to you until it runs on both your consoles, Xbox. You wonder if there's a little bit of bad blood there, but that's an interesting thing there about how they've kind of possibly made a misstep in both understanding the appeal of a game like Baldur's Gate 3 and then the fact that and now it's going back last year, we now know it's kind of more closer to 50-50, but we had a conversation back when they first announced Baldur's Gate 3 wouldn't run on the Series S. We kind of thought, well, that's a bit of a potential not oversight on their part. I mean, you can understand there's a kind motive behind that to be like, oh, we'll make it affordable for people. But now we've kind of hit a point in the console's life cycle where it's like, well, no, everyone's developing games to be of this amount of power and they understand the technology. But unfortunately, back last year, 50% of Xbox or 75% of Xbox consumers just couldn't play certain games, which is kind of, hard luck, Xbox. But Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, a second-run Stadia PC RPG. Damn.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not wrong about Stadia. I played the Stadia. It was a hunk of shit, but...
Those are fighting words. I'm sure that was, because these are leaks, I'm sure that was from, Phil obviously had to change his tune about that when they did finally, try and grab to get it onto Xbox consoles.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a bit dated and Phil's kind of... regretting his choice of words, especially given how much Larian are now doing for Microsoft and getting it onto the S and getting it onto the S in a way that they want it to be. Yeah. Honest.
Which I have to, I'm back playing Baldur's Gate 3 at the minute, close to finishing Act 1. It's a fantastic game. I was reading a great article of, I think it was from Forbes magazine, and they were talking about the writer, I can't remember who the writer was, but they were talking about their picks for Game of the Year, and they were like, pre-August, I would have said Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, hands down. He's like, Baldur's Gate 3 has to be it for me. And it's so interesting to think that, Larian have come out and said, oh, there's a couple of people who just didn't think it was worth much, but it's really up. I mean, I think it's got a great chance of absolutely robbing Game of the Year. I'm having the best time with that game. I haven't enjoyed a game like that in so long.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone seems to be loving it. The only problem is, Zelda.
Yeah, it's the name. It's the name, right? Yeah. I hope we're.
I'm still rooting for Street Fighter, man. I gotta be honest.
I think it'll be nominated, Chris, but I don't think you're going to get much luck. I'll go on to the next one. Phil Spencer wasn't impressed by the PS5 reveal. In an email to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Phil Spencer described the Xbox Series XS line as a, quote, a better product than what Sony has, not just on hardware, but equally important on the software, platform, and services, end quote. He continued, quote, we have the ingredients of a winning plan. Today was a good day for us, end quote.
Whoa.
I'm not so sure about the hardware comment, but I mean, Xbox has always had better software and services available
Like
on it.
I mean, Games Pass is a far superior thing than
Games
anything
Pass
Sony's
and
offering,
just
yeah.
app variation. Like a big one for me is Kodi. Just the fact that it's available on Xbox is a sell point.
Yeah. It's just it runs like a PC kind of. You can get it running like a PC essentially.
Yeah.
In dev mode, you can run like DuckStation and all those fucking
Yeah,
emulators
exactly.
and stuff
And
like that.
they
It's
don't make
insane.
doing that kind of stuff
Yep.
too. It's very complicated.
Yep. Yep.
Well, see what the numbers say at the end of the old year for Philly. So Microsoft accidentally got an exclusive Sega game. As next-gen consoles launched in 2020, fans of Sega's long-running Yakuza series were surprised that its latest entry, the RPG Like a Dragon, was available on Xbox Series X and S, but not PlayStation 5. The Yakuza series has long been associated with PlayStation. What was up? This last month's leak revealed that Microsoft was just as surprised, and it turns out the reason for Like a Dragon landing on Xbox first was due to two competing regional exclusivity agreements Sega made essentially short-circuited each other. The result, Xbox players ate while PlayStation fans wept into their dual senses. I enjoy that. Like, I mean, Claire's killing it with this article. It's pretty funny. I don't play Yakuza, but I know it's mad popular. And what's mad about that is Yakuza. I think it's a Japanese publisher or developer, right? Is it not?
Yeah, I think so.
And for it not to be there for Sony, the Japanese company, is quite a damn.
Yeah, it had a bit of a rambunctious run on Game Pass where I really wanted to get into the series and I knew it was on Game Pass and I went to play it. Installed it, played a couple of minutes of it, was like really enjoying it. Went back to play it, I think it was like a day or two later, and it was gone off Game Pass, and they were all gone off Game Pass. And I'm like, what's going on? Is this? I thought this was like a Microsoft thing, and it was clear that there was some license shenanigans happening because it came back onto Game Pass then like a month later, and it was like
interesting.
It's like Netflix and Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
man. Spider-Verse just keeps, anytime I'm like, I'm going to watch Spider-Verse on Netflix, it's just not there anymore. I hate it. So the next one is the Xbox Series X might go all digital in 2024. We didn't just get scans of emails from very serious people. We also got some images and details of possible forthcoming hardware, including a cylindrical shaped Xbox Series X that won't include a disk drive.
Oh, stop with the funny ass shapes for consoles. Holy fuck.
Codenamed Brooklyn, the leaked data indicates that the possible hardware refresh will include more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, and a more immersive controller. If this thing does see the light of day, I'll happily refer to it as a trash can Xbox in honor of the similarly shaped 2013 Mac Pro refresh.
Yeah, that was bad. Do you remember that Mac?
No.
The Mac Pro, like not the laptop, the actual
the
desktop PC was a fucking. It looked like a trash can. Like it was.
Oh, no,
It was
really?
awful looking, and it had little wheels that you could buy for like $2,000 or something. Ridiculous. Could you read back down? Would you mind before you go on too far? Could you read back the features that they said that the new Xbox might have?
It will include more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, and a more immersive controller.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Sure.
It kind of just seems like a digital Pro, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Xbox Pro, whatever, Xbox X Pro.
I mean,
Well,
digital version only just makes perfect sense. I know you guys love your
I don't have.
physical copies, but I think it's, especially you can't even go anywhere and look at it first.
Actually, do you know what
No
annoys
GameStop anymore.
What annoys me about that is I don't actually do any physical copies of video games, but I do use my fucking Xbox as a Blu-ray player.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, where's the
PlayStation 5's good
I'm
at
gonna
this.
play my Blu-rays.
If you want to buy the most expensive DVD player in your life, look, buy a PS5. Like,
yeah, no thanks.
No, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, Chris, I'm not a person who has any time for all digital. I don't think that's a safe future for the consumer. But sure, makes sense. Faster Wi-Fi. And it's funny, the whole Wi-Fi thing, like, maybe for people like PC gamers like yourself, Chris, might get it. But like, I pay standard internet for Ireland. I think my anytime I check my speed, it's like 250 megabytes per second.
Yeah,
I
mean,
can't
the
imagine I
issue
need
is-
any more than that.
I think it's
I don't even think Wi-Fi can get much quicker, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, it's just try to get a wired connection when you can. It's just going to be better.
Yeah.
I think they're clearly thinking about it with regards to their cloud gaming service.
Oh, that's true, I suppose. Yeah, because
It's not. It's more to do with the protocols,
maybe.
less the download speeds. I think.
Yeah.
I'm actually, the most interesting part of that was like immersive controller, because like the Xbox controller has been like tried and true since the start. And why would that be exclusive to this console? Like normally you buy an Xbox controller and it just works on any one of your
I'd say it will work on any Xbox, and like they work on PCs as well with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I think you just get it as standard with this console. I think is more the point.
Well, great
Great
segue for me, Chris, because the next item is the Xbox could get a fancy new controller. The potential 2024 hardware refresh might also see a new Xbox gamepad hit the market. The image of a controller codenamed Sabile shows a two-tone color design and promises modular thumbsticks and features that many a PlayStation fan have known for a few years now. Lift-to-wake precision haptic feedback and an accelerometer. Despite how the controller may look in the image, the copy indicates it will feature the same ergonomics as the current Xbox Series X and S controller, codenamed Merlin.
The most ergonomic controller.
Yeah.
But Xbox didn't have haptic feedback?
No.
No, they don't have haptic feedback. They have like multiple vibration levels, but they don't have actual haptic feedback.
Do you remember like the OG Rumble Pack?
For the Nintendo 64
For the Nintendo
controls.
64.
Oh, no, I never
big,
had one of those.
Sack that you
Into
attach
the
to
back, and because the weight and it threw the balance of the controller, because the controller became top heavy. Yeah, what a life we live in. So this is the last leak now. So Microsoft sees its next Xbox as a cloud hybrid machine. Slides projecting the future of the Xbox platform indicate that Microsoft is very much looking to the cloud. Where have I heard that before? To help its post Xbox Series X and S console, for which it's looking at a 2028 release. Microsoft describes such a machine as a quote next generation hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined power of the client and cloud to deliver deeper immersion in entirely new classes of game experiences. Cool? Question mark. So while we might get some sequels to beloved games like Dishonored and a fancy new controller for Xbox and PC, the leaked Microsoft materials also portend another nail in the coffin for physical game media. But hey, maybe Mario and Master Chief will get to go on another little adventure together at some point. And that's the end of Xbox leaks. Interesting.
Great article. Fair play to Claire.
Yeah, Claire, it was an enjoyable read actually. When I was pulling some articles today, I gave me a couple of chuckles at some of the things you had to say there. So, but yeah, I mean the 20 like none of that. The last couple of things don't surprise me. Like a new console in 2028 that kind of lines up with the 7 to 8 year life cycle of this generation. So, the cloud thing will be interesting because I was in there as a, what would you call it, foundation member, early adopter of Stadia, and I could see it was, I was so close to being this excellent thing. It just wasn't there, and it just still doesn't seem to be there. 2028, is that the year for cloud gaming in what it's meant to be? Who knows? I don't.
I have a new goal, Darren.
Oh, hit me.
I'm gonna buy and own a house before Microsoft drop their next generation console. That's my new goal. That's my life goal for me.
Will it be in the cloud, Luke?
I'm going to erase them. My house will be in the cloud. In that it will be imaginary and in my dreams.
Okay, so this next article is it's a pretty juicy one. This is all on to the charges that were brought forward by Unity.
Oh yeah, let's go.
This is from Alex Stedman at IGN. So Unity has announced some key changes to its widely panned runtime fee policy, which spawned both derision and confusion from developers and the gaming community at large when it was unveiled earlier this month. It's easing up on some big aspects of the previously announced charges, removing the fee from the Unity Personal tier entirely, although it still remains in a revised form on the Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise tiers. In short, as originally announced, starting on January 1st, 2024, Unity would start charging developers a small fee every time someone downloads a game built on Unity's game engine, after a certain threshold for minimum revenue and install count. The different tiers of Unity plans, Unity Personal, Unity Plus, Pro, and Enterprise, had different thresholds, and per the original announcement, smaller developers using Unity Personal and Plus would have to pay Unity 20 cents per install once their game passed $200,000 in revenue over the last 12 months and 200,000 life-to-date installs. Unity announced this month, however, that there will be no runtime fee on games built on Unity Personal, which will remain free. There will also be increasing financial threshold of Unity Personal from $1,000 to $100,000 to $200,000, and will remove the requirement to use the Made with Unity splash screen. Interesting. Quote, no game with less than $1 million in trailing 12-month revenue will be subject to the fee, end quote. Unity's Mark Whitten said to the blog post earlier this month. Unity also revealed charged also revealed charge for Unity Pro and Unity Enterprise. Quote, the runtime fee policy will only apply beginning with the next LTS version of Unity shipping in 2024 and beyond. Your games that are currently shipped and the projects you are currently working on will not be included unless you choose to upgrade them to this new version of Unity. This, it said. Quote, for games that are subject to the runtime fee, we are giving you a choice of either a 2.5% revenue share or the calculated amount based on the number of new people engaging with your game each month. Continued, both of these numbers are self-reported from data you already have available. You will always be billed the lesser amount. Unity's Jason Wyman will also be holding a fireside chat. I think this has already happened, I think. So we'll skip over that a little bit. After Unity announced the policy on September 12th, the backlash was swift. Among the concerns for what the runtime fee would mean for charity bundles, free-to-play bundles, multiple installs, and Game Pass, some developers hinted that they'd be forced to pull their games from the engine, and Among Us developer Innersot confirmed to IGN that, quote, pulling Among Us for a little while was on the table. While Unity released several statements attempting to clarify the policy in the following days, they did little to help, mostly just confirming aspects that were already controversial. On Sunday, however, Unity said that it would be, quote, making changes to the policy. Developers were quick to react to the revisions when they were announced today, or earlier this month, whatever day that was, with developer Rami Ismail posting on Twitter, quote, you know what, on first glance, I think this works. It's effectively a 2.5% revenue share for 1 million per year earners. No retroactivity left, LTS stability, no black box data, yeah? I think this works for everyone and every user in this case, end quote. Luke, you put me onto this when it first came out.
Yeah, wild. Absolutely wild. I thought when you said it was a fireside chat, I thought the fire you were referring to was Unity's stock options.
Jesus.
Going up in the background. No, yeah, it's nuts. It was a crazy move. Funny, the original article that I read on this, I think it might have been a Kotaku article. I'm not sure.
I actually have the
one I posted.
Yeah, that was a really good one. But yeah, the numbers or what developers were saying on your article was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. And that article did cap off the story being like this is Unity's direction under the new helmsmanship of former EA boss. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes
eye roll.
They kind of threw that in as the last sentence of the article, and I was like, oh okay,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, nuts. Crazy plan for them to come out with, and developers were rightfully very upset with it.
But lots of the small time developers were all over Twitter asking asking consumers not to download their game because they were worried that would affect the bottom line.
Because I mean, when I first read the article, I was so back and forth because the initial thing I thought of when I heard just the summation of this was anyone with the slightest bit of malicious intent could just keep downloading the game over and over and fucking cost a company a lot of money. It seemed like there was no safeguard.
Imagine the farms, because the internet's such a great place for grab your torch and pitchforks these days. Then imagine people just setting up fucking download farms for people's
absolutely.
games and just costing them an absolute fortune.
Or even a fucking 15-year-old kid with some hacking knowledge. If he has a bunch of slave PCs set up around, you just download to those. And
so the idea I think that they were going for originally was it was a charge per EULA. So that means that if you had Games Pass and you had Games Pass Ultimate, so you had Xbox and PC Game Pass, if you downloaded a version on your Xbox and then downloaded a version on your PC, those would be two different end user license agreements, even though it's the same gamer tag.
See, that makes sense. But and I scoured the article looking for that, but I didn't find any clarification on it. It just seemed like,
I think that clarification might have come the next day when developers started dragging them, raking them across the coals. But they gave that clarification then being it's per EULA, it's per end user.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes way more sense than just
trolling through Reddit and Twitter in the aftermath. When you showed me that article, I went on to some Reddit threads and Twitter stuff. But Unity was being dragged through the mud, and all of these other names for different engines to use and stuff like that were hey, I'm switching to this, you should switch to that, no one trusts it. And it was all this no trust, don't care, goodbye, it's done. And I was fuck, well, I guess because it just seemed the fees just seemed so outrageous.
So actually, again, I say that the EULA stuff I think was confirmed a day later, but when they started coming out and confirming and clarifying things a day later, it wasn't really clear whether they were clarifying things that they had in their plan or if this was a walk back. Because it felt very like a walk back. They didn't mention anything about charity bundles. which again, like if you own something on a charity bundle, or even if you, so it still kind of fucks people over. Like if you have Steam on your Steam Deck and you've Steam on your PC and you've Steam on a laptop or something like that, like those, I'm pretty sure they count as
all
three
different
distinct,
EULAs.
different end user license agreements. It's per device that it's being installed on, pretty much, and that's the developer is only getting one fee for that, but they're having to pay Unity each one on that original plan. The new revised plan, I have to agree, is way better. Like it makes sense. And I don't know, maybe Unity got away with a big chunk of free marketing for their license, because the personal license idea sounds good, like no charge for it. They had a revenue cap on it before, apparently, of 100,000.
Most of these
they've doubled
engines
it.
do.
Okay, so the personal had the 100,000, which is up to it.
But like some of these companies are also paying for like lifetime licenses for like the enterprise, and like those guys are already dishing out a whole lot of money. Now all of a sudden you're going to charge them more.
The idea that it was going to apply retroactively was the grossest part of it. Of like you said, people had lifetime licenses
because there was no
Please. Imagine that. Just like imagine you bought something like your PlayStation, Sony comes back to you like a year later and just like, oh, it's $100 more. Cough it up.
I bought it though. It's like
knocking on your door. Like, but that's what I mean, and this is my argument when I talk about like the digital side of things or whatever else. There just seems like to be such a lack of a safety net, you know, in these kind of things. It's like I have my physical copy of Final Fantasy 16. No one's taking that away from me. Like that's my disc, and I'm keeping that. But like,
you say that, but they probably put something in.
Some
like,
block.
This game was like created using Unity, so this is going to cost money.
License is void.
Please pay another €20 to continue playing your game.
I was very glad of the backlash, though. I have to say, like I was very glad that there was such an immune response from within the game community against this corporate shit just trying to like capitalize on.
And like when I first was reading it, I was going down through the article, I was like, this sucks, but maybe Unity's like having trouble, maybe they're really not making money for what they're providing. And like you said, that last line, like former dude of EA, I was like, oh no, it's just greed. It's just greed.
Just about profit margins.
So speaking of Elder Scrolls 6, this next little news article is Elder Scrolls 6 is not coming to PlayStation. This is from Robert Ramsey at Push Square. A few months back, there was some speculation that Elder Scrolls 6 might not be an eventual Xbox exclusive, despite Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda. This all came about because Xbox boss Phil Spencer had said that target platforms hadn't been decided yet, but it always felt like his comments were more to do with the game being years away rather than him hinting at potential plans to allow the RPG on PlayStation platforms. And if for some reason you were still grasping at straws, know that Microsoft fully intends for the Elder Scrolls 6 to release on Xbox and PC only. That's according to documents from the company's court case against the FTC, which were recently made public. Said documents show a schedule for all Bethesda's announced titles, both as a publisher and developer, and the entry for the Elder Scrolls 6 clearly states that it's heading to Xbox, PC, and nothing else. We obviously thought this would be the case, but it's more important to note that the Elder Scrolls 6 was announced before Microsoft snapped up its developer. What's more, this isn't quite a Starfield situation, as the Elder Scrolls is an incredibly popular property that's existed on multiple platforms for generations. Having said all that, the game's not expected until 2026 at the earliest, again according to the document, and who knows what the gaming landscape will look like by the time it arrives. This is the, you know, I'm torn between two minds. I think, you know, PlayStation's success is in their exclusives. I think they're doing exclusives in a very different way to Xbox. I think they're growing the companies that are releasing the exclusives, where it looks to me like Xbox is buying the companies to make them exclusive. But I just don't think things should be exclusive. You know, people should, like, Xbox players should just be able to play Spider-Man and Final Fantasy. And if I wanted to play, I mean, this doesn't bother me at all. I'm not an Elder Scrolls player, but I know there's a lot of people out there, like my brother, who's going to be like, God, fucking damn it. Like, you know, Andrew loves Elder Scrolls, and the idea that he can't play it now because Xbox owns Bethesda is just it's just all a bit grubby. I don't like it. Stop making things exclusive, everybody.
But when it's exclusive on Microsoft, it's exclusive on PC. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's on like, and PC is
but the same,
desktop, laptops, like Steam Decks.
The same can be said for a lot of PlayStation stuff, though, in fairness, because like all of the Gorilla, the Spider-Mans, the Final Fantasies are all, it's not day on release date, it's usually a year later, but all the PlayStation exclusives come to PC as well.
Not Bloodborne, though.
Not Bloodborne.
Oh, not Bloodborne. Yeah, Bloodborne and Demon Souls remastered. Still haven't got that.
Yeah.
So.
It's just the exclusivity game taken to another level.
And we were, because the whole thing with gaming for ages was like, oh, let's cross-platform. Let's just all play with our mates, just play with each other. And that was what everybody was looking for. Now it's now we've gotten back into a little bit of a boxing match. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know we said cross-platform like, fucking 5 years ago, whatever else. But now we're just going to make sure the game's just like, it's like Hungry Hippos, How many companies, how many exclusives can you get off the table?
I think this is also like a potential ace at the sleeve. Let's say like Sony comes out. I just mentioned Bloodborne, which has never been on another console. They started developing Bloodborne 2. And Xbox wants that. They'd be like, well, we'll give you Elder Scrolls, you give us Bloodborne or something like that.
Well, I mean, like, if
it's a bargaining chip.
Yeah, if there's trades, fine. But just like, fuck, because the thing about it is what breaks my heart is that, look, you still haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake.
No.
Which is like... Yeah, I'm assuming if it was available for Xbox, Games Pass, you probably would have played it by now, right?
Next year, right? It's coming next
year. No, man.
Year.
No, and this is the thing. This is what makes me so sad. It's because when that game originally came out, they were talking about, and it will be available for Xbox at a later date. All the shit that Microsoft's pulling now, Sony's like, no way, not happening. You're not getting this.
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because if this is the way it continues, like Sony's I suppose what they have the upper hand on is exclusives. Do you know what I mean? That's what's making the hardware more successful because people are buying PlayStation 5s for the Horizons, the Spider-Mans, the Final Fantasies. And now it's come to the stage where Microsoft is like, okay, well, we've got like fucking we're worth 6 times what you are, Sony. We'll just buy all the things and make them exclusive and they'll catch up that way. And Sony will begin to lose out. So yeah, I can't see them ever letting go of their own exclusives now that there is a threat of that being overtaken by Microsoft.
But there is that deal, isn't there, coming up between Microsoft and Square Enix? Like they're not deal specifically, but they have talked about like when Realm Reborn comes next year.
Yes, that's coming out to Xbox. That's been in the talks for a long time, and I'd like to think that's an eye into this is the future. They'll just share things.
I think that's also a matter of. Because Realm Reborn is online only, runs on servers, and those servers are probably Azure, which is all Microsoft. So I think getting in with Microsoft and allowing it to be on Xbox provides them with a better relationship to get better service on their servers.
Yeah, we own the internet, bitch.
Yeah, man. Ooh, it's getting pretty dangerous out there, crazy. It doesn't bother me. It's going to be pretty sad. This next one it's quite interesting. Like this month is kind of it seems to be very PlayStation versus Xbox because this next one is the update of the Xbox acquisition of Activision. This comes from VGC by Chris Scullion. So UK regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, has provisionally agreed to allow Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The CMA has remained the last major roadblock to the deal closing and initially blocked the acquisition in April due to concerns about its impact on the nascent cloud gaming market. Nascent means newly established, by the way. I had to look that up today. Microsoft attempted to restructure its proposed acquisition by agreeing to sell cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft, leading to the CMA to launch a new merger inquiry. This move has now seemingly been enough to satisfy the CMA, which has posted its provisional decision today, which was sometime in September. Quote, while the CMA has identified limited residual concerns with the new deal, Microsoft has put forward remedies which the CMA has provisionally concluded should address these issues, end quote. It adds, while the restricted deal is materially different to the previous transaction and substantially addresses most concerns, the CMA has limited residual concerns that certain provisions in the sale of Activision's cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft could be circumvented, terminated, or not enforced. Quote, to address these concerns, Microsoft has offered remedies to ensure that the terms of the sale of Activision's rights to Ubisoft are enforceable by the CMA. The CMA has provisionally concluded that this additional protection should resolve these residual concerns. The CMA has now opened a consultation until October 6th, after which time it will make a final decision unless any major objections shed new light on the situation. It should now be expected that the CMA will approve the deal. Following the publication of the provisional decision, Microsoft President and Vice Chair Brad Smith, what a name, tweeted, quote, we are encouraged by this positive development in the CMA's review process. We presented solutions that we believe fully address the CMA's remaining concerns related to cloud game streaming, and we will continue to work toward earning approval to close prior to the October 18th deadline. Commenting on the provisional decision, the CMA's Senior Director of Mergers and Phase 1 Decision Maker, Colin Rafferty, said he was satisfied that Microsoft's new proposal satisfies the CMA's concerns. The article continues on in lots of more confusing and court-based stuff, but it looks like Microsoft are going to spend $3 billion to buy Activision.
Cool $3 billion.
cool.
Pocket change.
Pocket change for Microsoft Game Division.
It seems crazy that because UK initially closed it down, right?
Back in April, which
Yeah.
we commented on back in April. Yeah, you
and
heard it
then,
here first.
European Union was like, yeah, it's all right. Now UK is just like, yeah, it is all right. It seems like somebody read it that had no idea what they were like reading.
Because it is interesting, is that like it's a video game thing, and you wonder how much knowledge is out there when it comes to. I mean, the CMA is the Competition and Markets Authority. Like, are there people in there who understand what this means for gaming in general? You don't. Doesn't really know.
Pretty arbitrary, but I think I made the comment at the time that it felt it kind of smacked a little bit of. So I know people who work in like policies and regulations in the UK, specifically in internet-based things, and they're trying to be very forward-footed with all their policies. Like, they're going after the social media companies, they're going after everything. They want to not make policies in a reactive way. They want to do them in a proactive way. So this kind of smacked of that being like, Microsoft's doing what? Let's get out ahead of this, and this is our standards, and this is our thing. And it was like, but they like, it was based off cloud gaming was their rejection of it, and everyone was like, yeah, cloud gaming. And they were like, yeah, cloud gaming. And they were like, yeah, cloud gaming. And then it just ended.
It's like, oh, we'll give some of that to Ubisoft. Well, okay, welcome to
yeah,
the team.
It's like they just needed to be told something.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like, but I don't know. Yeah, mad. It is kind of a big moment in gaming history. Like the fucking like even the ZeniMax acquisition, which is the parent company of Bethesda and Arcane and all those. That was a huge moment in the history of like Microsoft, because that was 1 billion at the time, or was
it was close to 1 billion. Yeah, it was big money,
absolutely huge at the time. And this has been so long in the making that it's massive.
It's a bit scarier now that we've got these like other articles alongside this one about like Microsoft cracking the whip with their exclusives and potentially looking into buying Nintendo and shit like that. We need to pump the brakes a bit, because I would like to see things be a bit more competitive, where like Microsoft has some exclusive and it has a bit of more of a foot in the game.
To be perfectly transparent, even as a diehard Microsoft person, I'd be very against them buying Nintendo, because that is when the CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority, should step in. That's when a monopoly is happening.
Yeah.
And you're like, even though they can, that doesn't mean they should, or that it's okay, or
but
that
that's because it's bad news for us at the end of the day. I mean, like, if you look at, if Microsoft owned so many of the publishers, developers out there, that I had to actually, I mean, I've paid as a consumer to have my PlayStation 5. It's my choice. There was choices out there. I figured that was the best choice. If it goes this way, and Microsoft owns all the exclusives, we've got complete rights to cloud gaming. 2028. I'm like, well, there's only one option out there in the market now. Don't like it. And the Nintendo thing,
I don't
kind of
think
spooky.
You can own the rights to something like cloud gaming. That's like owning the rights to being able to use a controller when you play.
But they've got no competition, right? That's the thing, and that's why the CMA stepped in. And this,
but them developing this technology isn't them like gaining control and saying like we're the only ones allowed to do it. The fact that no one else is doing it is on Sony, on Nintendo. It's up to them.
It's like saying that it's like going after the Wright brothers for having a monopoly on airplanes. Like, no, they're just the only ones who invented an airplane. You guys invent an airplane and then we'll talk.
Give me your competitive airplane. So in light of all this, Jim Ryan, who's the head of Sony, has obviously seen some things. So this next story is Jim Ryan to leave Sony. This is coming from the Game Informer by Alex Van Aken. PlayStation head Jim Ryan is leaving the company. According to a press release from Sony Interactive Entertainment, Ryan has served as president and CEO since his appointment in 2018. Ryan's tenure at Sony spans nearly 30 years, during which he's held numerous leadership roles, including serving as the head of Sony Europe, and former SIEE president Andrew House passed the torch in 2011. So why is Jim Ryan leaving Sony? Quote, I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America, Ryan said in the press release. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. PlayStation will always be a part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than ever about the future of SIE. I want to thank Yoshida-san for placing so much trust in me and being an incredibly sensitive and supportive leader, end quote. Ryan remains at the company until March 2024. Effective April 1st, 2024, Sony Group Corporation President, COO and CFO Hiroki Totoki will step in as SIE's interim CEO, reporting to Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida. I mean, I guess he's gone. Well, the reason I wanted to include this was because I was watching, you know, I've been big into like the state of plays. I loved that year where we got the Xbox and the new Xbox announcement, and the same year we got the PlayStation 5 announcement. And Phil Spencer, as much as he's gone down in my books since kind of like the you know, well, I mean, he was honest about Redfall and stuff like that, and I appreciated that. But these leaks have kind of, I'm like, maybe Phil Spencer's a bit weird. But he was kind of the young gamer, like, I mean, a young enough dude. He plays video games. He's the head of Xbox. When I saw him doing the big announcement for Xbox, I was like, that guy knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Jim Ryan, I'm like, that guy doesn't play video games.
Yes. Someone, I saw a short the other day on YouTube that was someone ran into Phil Spencer playing Fallout 76.
Yes, a great video. Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah, it was really good. And people were like, I can't imagine running into the head of Sony playing an online Sony game.
Jim
like,
Ryan is not the case.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know who's going to step in. Obviously, they're saying there'll be an interim person. But yeah, I think with the way the world is going, you've got like State of Plays, Nintendo Directs, and Microsoft making their announcements and their gaming shows. It seems to me like, you know, Microsoft always says the guys who do the Nintendo Directs are always quite funny and it's entertaining. And Phil Spencer does a great job on those like Xbox showcases. Jim Ryan, as much as I've kind of enjoyed what he's had to say, it's all very kind of a bit mature and a bit serious. And I think maybe are Sony looking to kind of spruce up and get a youthful CEO who plays
Oh yeah, maybe
Realm Reborn lots to do the State of Plays in the future.
It's
you
just
know,
Jim Ryan again, but he has like a backwards hat and like shades and holding a skateboard. He's like, "Hey, you cool kids? You like video games?
Yeah, I like to skateboard." Yeah, so interesting that he's gone. I quite liked him in the videos, but yeah, it kind of gave PlayStation a bit more of a mature, maybe not in the best way, kind of feel to their the online presence when they had it. But that's it. There you go, guys. Jim Ryan's gone. Phil Spencer's buying everything up. Jim Ryan's like, peace, I'm out of here before this gets too heavy.
before Phil Spencer buys me.
Yeah. Jim Ryan, how much are you worth? But it's a funny, like going through the articles when we picked these 5 stories and I was looking at them, I was like, there is a definite theme in September of like Xbox just flexing some muscle and being like, yeah, we want to buy lots of shit, you know?
Well, a lot of it was off the back of leaks like that. And again, like that's not, I'm sure that's not part of like Microsoft or Phil's plan to let that information leak in that way. But it's out there now, Phil.
Yeah.
It's out there now.
And again, it's wrong of me to say because it was released because it was put on like a publicly accessible link for the court thing that they were going through. Yeah. And there was a part of me for a while that was like, accident or accident on purpose? You know, a bit of publicity. I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, interesting.
Imagine that buying Activision and leaking all these other like ideas. It's like we're coming for.
But that's what I mean, like Warner Bros. Like people being behind like some certain other companies being like, Phil, we're for sale. We'll happily get bought. You know, it's kind of like, are you checking out the field, seeing who's available?
Yeah.
Nintendo, hopefully not, because I was only saying to you, Chris, when we came in this like before doing this episode, I love we've got like the PC and the trio of gaming. Like you, me, and Craig, Luke did an episode of like I think you know what we expected this year from PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and I love the red, green, blue. You know, the market out there. I love that. But the idea that, you know, Master Chief just fucking picking up Mario and being like, yeah, I own you.
I don't think Master Chief, I don't think that's a winning IP anymore. But yeah.
Halo might be dead in the water. Yeah, scary times. But that's it for kind of the news articles. Hope you guys enjoyed those. They were a little bit wordy. That was, you know, there was a lot in that Xbox Leaks one as well. But yeah, we're going to hop on to do a post show with some of the other news articles that are less serious and kind of a bit more enjoyable and things. And if you want to get on those, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com /The Gift of Gaming. Also, a shout out to Daniel who did our Zelda episode, the Games Club with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, as our new patron. I must tell Daniel that as a member of the podcast, he doesn't need to sign up to the Patreon, but he's more than welcome. I must let him know. But yeah, if you want more content, there's loads there. Check it out. Cost of a coffee a month. Well worth it. Helps us keep the mics on. But Chris, thank you so much for sticking around. And Luke, you too.
Yeah, thanks, Darren.
No problem. And to our listeners out there, as always, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.